What is going on, everybody? This is your boy Tig once again, back at it with another new episode of Project Open Mic. Hope you guys are doing well. Man, everybody out there are doing well, and you come back to your boy to learn more and understand what's going on in the world today. I thank you for giving me your eyes, your ears, your mind, just listening to Project Open Mic. Again, for people who are new, Project Open Mic, we get a lot of new people jumping into this thing now, which is good. Project Open Mic is a topical show where we talk about, policies. People say politics, I don't care, you totally agree. People go to the people, but we talk about topical stuff. We talk about what's going on in the world today, and try to also the blind spots where a lot of people don't see. Remember, if you are watching this on a platform that has a description in the bottom, you can there's a link tree, and you can watch stuff later on, or share with other people, or do anything you want to do in the past, of course. So, of course, a lot of people don't know, I am your host, Tig. Project Open Mic is broadcast worldwide. And that's what our link tree is for. We are broadcast not only here on YouTube, we also broadcast again. And if you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, help us push the algorithms, help us out. But I know this is not my biggest platform, but YouTube is the best one. YouTube and Rumble are the two ones that have my backup log. So if you want to catch past shows or what I talk about when I say, hey, past podcast, you can check it out. But we're on Rumble, we're on YouTube. We are live in Tempo FM. We're also on YouLive, Nico, which is in Japan. We're also on Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Basically, whenever you see this symbol on your screen, you see this on your screen, you know you're in the right spot. Okay, so again, thank y'all for that, and shout outs for everybody. We got about 2,028 people already in the building. Again, it's gonna rise to the end, but again, thank you. So tonight's show, we're gonna talk about human nature to a degree, and I'm gonna have to try to make an understanding. And again, I want to thank everybody for watching last week's show. A lot of people watched it. Thank you very much for that. And it looked like I got everything worked out back with Facebook again. So again, help me out by watching, sharing, and whatever you watches this on Facebook, whatever, share it. Why? Because a lot of the what I speak about, a lot of the platforms like to shadow ban people because they don't want, the truth to get out. So, and again, I'm not doing this for the money. I mean, I'm not doing this for the money, maybe by the end of the year, I will put up a set of things you can help me out because it does take time out of my day to do these shows, but I do like to spread it. And I'm a talker. I'm not gonna deny it. I'm a talker. I like to talk about stuff. But I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. I like to do certain things a certain way. But tonight's show is about human nature. And the reason I say that, and I'm gonna keep on saying more and more in the future, is because of certain things. So, what I mean by certain things. I did a show. I think episode 143, where I talk about uncomfortable truths. And again, uncomfortable truths, and you can go back and watch that as well to see what's going on. But this right here is what I'm going to talk about is people need to understand that human nature is something that I'm interested in. I'm intrigued. But I also know that it's not the most perfect thing out there. Because when I say human nature, we do things, well, I'll break it down in a certain way. All right? So one of the things that I'll state is this, like I've said before. Where racist comes, everybody's talking about racism and all that stuff. Racism really comes from tribalism, and we are tribalist creatures. That's at our core. That's what we do. We're tribalist creatures. And the reason I am very interested into human nature is as I had a conversation with my wife, and I also had to think about some things that's going on in the world right now. I believe in a God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I am Christian. I don't try to put a lot of things out there for a lot of people, but I do believe those are my beliefs, and that's my moral background. Again, at the end of the show, I say evil comes in all shape, size, color, creed, height, nationality, sex, gender. It's made no difference. Evil is evil. So when it comes to the tribal thing, like I was talking about, my tribe is good people, good white people, good black people, good. Look at that. Hey, I'll even say that. I forgot the book. Good white people, good black people, good transgenders, good lesbian or gays, good Asians, good tall people, good short people, good men, good women. That's my tribe. If you want to do good, help people, and don't hurt nobody, that's my tribe. But if you're evil, I don't give a rat's. But what are you are in those same categories? I don't care. I do not care. That's not my thing to contend with. So, but that's where tribalism comes from. Because once again, like I said before, with okay, let's put it this way. So we are already known. Really, it makes no difference, and that's what says tribalism. We got Sunni Shiites. They're slaughtering each other no matter what. The Houthis were Tutsis, the Houths and were Tutsis in Africa that had a civil war. We have civil war in America. South versus the North. Like we have a lot of Indian tribes, the Black tribe versus the Blackfoot tribe, you know the Warhawks. Like it goes, we fight each other, Vikings, all kind of stuff like that. We literally will try to be in the best tribe to think so we could survive. That's what we are. I said before, I'll say it again. If I'm in the water and I got my wife and I got somebody else there, I'm sorry, I'm gonna save my wife more than I'm gonna save the other person. Unless it's a particular thing, that's what it is. But I'm gonna try to save my lineage, my heritage to keep on going. And like I said before, all those everybody fought each other, so it's a tribal thing and not that. I'm gonna do a show later on. Not this is not. No, I know what I'm gonna do for my because every third for anybody to know I'm starting this new thing every third Thursday. I do like you're gonna see tonight. I'll jump from video to video. I'm gonna do one subject videos to prove my point, and I already think I have that video already. A year ago, last year, Hawaii had the devastating fire, and I want to do a year in it there with Tulsi Gabbard. I want to react to her video because that is something that we need to talk about. And not warning, spoiler alert. Again, we give $200 billion to Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars to Israel, barely that much to Hawaii. Hawaii. But I digress. All right. Human nature is that we're gonna always we're selfish creatures. I am not no different from nobody. Like I said, I know who I am. I sin. Have I done any majors? I don't even know what to call it majors, but have I killed anybody? Like I already did a video about not 7 sins, the 10 Commandments, and I've broken a couple of those 10 Commandments. Not all of them, because no. But I've sinned. I'm human. All of us have sinned and fall from perfect. I don't think I'll find a perfect person out there, but I would like to find a person who has a moral compass, a good moral compass to know this is evil, this is bad. By definition, also, humans are lazy creatures. We go to the path of least resistance. As you can see right now, there's a lot of people in America, I'm sorry to say this, but it's true, who are lazy, who don't want to do work, and are crying and boo-hooing for the most simplest of things. That right there is gonna hurt a lot of people in the future. That doesn't only extend to over here, that extends over to Europe as well too. A lot of young people over there want to be lazy pieces of crap. I say because it is true. Now another thing that's a part of the tribe is the culture. Cultures clash. All right. Our strength, as people, you hear a lot of people always say this, our strength is our diversity. Diversity in thought, diversity in skin, that's not our strength. Culture, diversity in culture, it doesn't work. Cultures clash. It never works that well. Also, a lot of people always think, oh, we need to have full democracy. And again, the United States of America is a democratic republic. We have representatives to help us. We don't have a straight, pure, I'm going to talk about that tonight. We don't have a straight, pure democracy because they never, ever work. The old saying is, all systems have failed. Democracy is the best system that all systems that's failed. That's what they say. So that's why the forefathers, white guys, and I don't care all the stuff. They were saying it is a what do you call it? Because I hate like presentism. I hate that people think, oh, I'll be different if I'm back in the time. No, that was the day of the time. That's what it was. Okay, but those guys came, Madison, Franklin, Washington. They came up with some good ideas. Jefferson, yeah, he was a slave. I know, but they came up with some good ideas to make this country last this long to keep on going. It is. Because again, pure democracy has never worked. It always failed because people vote for their demise. We're lazy people, we're selfish people. And with those two things, that's why I set those things up at the beginning to say that with those two things, then people just want to do the least. People just vote for people who just give them stuff. And then when you run out of other people's money, then the war starts fighting and things happen. That's why a lot of people always say, hard times make strong men. Strong men make easy time. Easy times makes weak men, and weak men make starts hard times. So we have, like I said, I am working to do a video about Kamala Harris. All right, she looked like she's the nominee, but I'll wait for the DMC to do it, whatever. And again, I'm bringing this up because it irks the heck out of me. People say I should vote for people because they're the color. Again, I'll state it one more time. Well, I'll say it multiple times before this. So sorry. Kamala Harris and legitimately is not black. I don't really care, but she legitimately not black. But her dad is from Jamaica. He was an Indian born in Jamaica. He was Indian and Irish. He was not Jamaican. He's Jamaican by nationality. That's it. But people say, oh, I'm Puerto Rican. That's your nationality. That's not your race. People need to understand that. It's not your race. That's your nationality. I'm an Division. Born in Division. That's why I was born and raised as. Now, I learned the American culture to come to America to become successful as best as I can. and I understand what it is. That's why my family fought hard to get here the legal way, not illegals. And I don't play with that migrant word, but the illegals, no, the legal way. But in that, I can't. I myself cannot. My morals do not link up with the Democrat parties. With the Democrat Party, I am not a Republican. I'm a libertarian, and that's why I could tell you from my libertarian brothers, that candidate that y'all choose, that guy there.
You piece of loser.
Nah, I can't. I cannot do that with that guy. He is a piece of crap, and y'all stupidly chose that. We need. Everybody think about, oh, we don't need that. Yes, we do. Libertarians, we do need some kind of authority. Not, I ain't saying gotta have a lot. I for sure want the least amount of government interference. I want a government interference. I want the school. I want just like Trump said he wants the abortion to be to the states. I want the schools them to be the states. I don't want Washington where you gotta fight for everything. I want it to more local controls where people have more say in their children's life. If you want to be woke and you want to go with the DIE and all that bull crap, you go to the states that have that. If you don't want that and you want people who teach, I don't know, math, English, STEMs, that kind of stuff, then you go to you have controls to do that at schools. That's what we need. We don't need a federal Department of Education. Do not need it. It's a waste. We don't need a lot of departments, and also the powers from the what do you call it, the now I ain't gonna say FEMA. I would say, even though FEMA needs, look, if it was up to me, I wish 30%. Every department in the, I know you're gonna hurt, but we need to stop inflation. And I wish every department, including if we could shut down, like I said, some of the departments from the federal government, needs a 30% cut. We have too many government workers who do not paint the system. I watched a video from Anton. You're gonna see a video later on about it from Anton. He was talking to this black dude. He was asking him about stuff. And this is his again. I'm a libertarian. This is a thing that I am against, even that I'm against with John Stossel, which I'm gonna use this video in a little bit. John Stossel, me and him don't see I would not see eye on that, but I get it. I think John is wrong. He doesn't want terrorists. He don't want terrorists on stuff from outside of the country, and I understand that. But if his country, but the thing about it again is when you go to those same countries like China, let's be honest with China, they're gonna have terrorists on American stuff. So why can't we do the same thing back to them? So in that conversation with Anton, this guy was like, "Oh, if you buy EV car, if Trump puts a tariff on EV cars, it's gonna cost, I think he said the Americans $7,000." I'm like,
what?
$7,000 where? Where would it cost $7,000? Well, if Trump put tariffs on EV cars from China, that's what it's gonna cost Americans. And Anton didn't do a best job. He was like arguing, and that's why I don't know if I'm good in those situations, but a tariff on a product won't affect that product. Now, if it's a material, it would affect the material, and I get that. But they were putting a tariff on EV cars. Yes. So unless you buy that certain EV car, you're not gonna get to raise prices. Since I'm not gonna buy that EV car, ain't gonna raise no money on me. So, and the part that kind of irks me even more was when and I guess I could find a video and play it, but I'm not. This is not the time of the show gonna do that. But a lot of as I've been doing, I have 4 episodes that recently called Econ 101, part 1, 2, 3, and 4. All those are things that people need to watch. Those are great things to watch about how economics works. Simple economics, not crazy economics, simple economics. I think we tariff some of these things that's coming from other countries. Heck, some of those other countries poison our dogs, got lead in our food, got lead, all kind of stuff. Yeah, I think we should do. Actually, we should. As you see me said before, we should tariff those things, and as well, we should have simple stuff made in America. Would it be a little bit more expensive because of labor? I get it. I understand that. But we should have them made in America instead of going outside the country and stuff like that. Antibiotics should be made here. We had no antibiotics that was made here when COVID came in 2020. None. I was like, wait, none? We didn't have no penicillin being made here in America. What? We have one or two. We have two companies that make baby formula. For baby formula. 2. And then of course they're subsidized by the government by a lot of money.
What?
I'm not down with that. I'm not. I'm a free market person. So I get what John Sauce is coming from. But again, I understand where the tariffs come from too. As I said, I'm not a pure libertarian. I am a libertarian because I want people to do this stuff. And like I always said, when it comes to other people, do what you want to do. If you ain't hurting nobody. When it comes to me, I'm conservative. I don't care. I'm gonna save my money and everything, my family. I'm gonna do all that. Another thing that also irks me as well too, in saying this stuff with human nature, is this. A person told me this a long time ago, rest his soul. He said, it is hard to be good. It's super hard to be good, but it's easy to be evil. And I am working hard to be good in this. Like I said, when the hurricanes, but again, I'm being human nature. Best example is this. Hurricanes just came through. Thank God. I hope they don't hurt nobody, whatever. Hurricane Esther just came through. Hurricane season is picking it up. For anybody out there, I hope everybody's being safe for the hurricane season coming up for 2024. August is here. September, late August and early September is where it gets really crazy. I pray no crazy hurricanes come, super strong hurricanes come true. Barbuda might get hit by Ernesto. I hope those guys are ready. Anyway, hurricanes come true and destroy things. I'll be honest with you. I did not. I thank everybody. When I used to do Temper FM and I had a real life show, I thank everybody who sent their millions of dollars to help me, and I made sure those money go to the right spot. I myself took money from my account. I took money from hard-earned money from me. All right, up to $7,000 I took out of my account, went down to St. Thomas, and shared soap, deodorant, batteries, flashlights, did it out of my account. But the only reason I did that, because my mom lost her house, so I went down and helped my mom. But I helped other people in that route. I helped other people in that route. Have I done it from since then? Well, no. But because my mom got affected, it gave me the passion to go and ask people from Temper FM to help me out, which you guys did. And I thank y'all multiple times on that. And I made sure the money go to the right spots. So that's again human nature. It only became something important to me because it happened to somebody close to me. I've sent thousands of dollars to money went. But I have some money too. When Japan got hit with the tsunami, I sent it to United Way. Same thing for the tsunami, and also same thing for the Thailand when they had the Thailand Christmas Day um Thailand Christmas Day tsunami as well too. It's just the nature of what we do. So human nature. People always. I'm gonna start with this with John Stott. So people think that because people have a weird feeling of certain things. A lot of white leftist liberal, mostly women, but like leftist liberal people, really, if they left the country, they left the snooty parts of certain countries. But to be honest with you, you guys you never been to other countries fully to understand what other countries go through. You really don't. And it kind of irks me how these people have more the control, have more of the power in the Democrat Party because again, it's mostly a lot of again, people scare me. It's the rich, Republicans are for the rich people, and Democrats are not rich. Again, that's Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, all of them have 200, $300 million in net worth. They're rich. Again, everybody showed you Nancy Pelosi bought a $25 million house. I don't know how you could buy a $225 million house if you ain't rich. Or she has two Sub-Zero freezer, which is worth almost $40,000 each for her ice cream collection. That one always still puts me. How the heck?
What? What?
And how the heck you have an ice cream collection? Ice. She has an ice cream collection. Obama lives in Martha's Vineyard with a $15 million house. He's an ex-president. I'm not saying a negative, but I'm just saying everybody always say that the Republicans are rich. Both parties are rich. Why we just can't start from there? Both parties are rich. Okay? And again, the reason I cannot be a part of the Democrat Party because my morals, like I said, do not match up with their morals. They have the morals of wanting to, like in California right now, passed a law. That's why Elon Musk left there. They passed a law that if Mike said this ain't gonna never happen, but an example, and it has happened. It has happened. My wife think that my son should be a daughter and she could carry to California, and I don't get 1 to 5. Or if the school teacher tells my son, "Oh, you're a girl or whatever, and I can help you get this way," but I am not notified as a parent. That's one of the reasons I want local schools to be back in there because again, parents, you have kids. Some of y'all basically didn't have the kids the way you wanted, but you have kids. Be in their lives, please. Please be in their lives. So going back with that, and it's kind of weird. The same people don't like big pharma, right? They don't like big pharma. All medicines are expensive and cheap and everything and blah blah blah. But you know this, you notice if you do a transgender thing, you're literally putting your kid on medicine for the rest of their life. For the rest of their life, they're gonna be on harsh chemicals that's not even ready for normal body use because they gotta keep their facade of their being a fake woman and a fake man. You ain't real, you ain't that. Your DNA, again, you die right now, they test your DNA, they're gonna tell you male or female. I just watched a video today about kiwis, how sun gold was made, and how it was like I said, I'm fascinated by stuff like this. And you know what they had? You know what they said to make so they could get to make sun gold because they had a breeding to stop a disease? They had to get the males flower to do certain things to the female flowers. Male and female. Now, is there a mutation or deformity or just something different that happens? Yes, it's not the norm. It's not the norm. Okay? That's the thing. It's not the norm. Doesn't mean that we gotta chastise them or make them horrible people, but they're not the norm. So don't try to make the minority the majority. It's not. It's, they're maybe about seven. I get a benefit of the doubt. There might be 10%, not even 10, 7. You know what I mean? That 7% of people who are LGBT, L and G. Ain't again B's bite. I don't make no sense, and I don't. Who are lesbian, who are homosexual, basically, and it's about one, maybe 1.5%. Not because it's because they're doing this for the stunt and thing. Now these young girls who are cutting off their own breasts at that young age, but they're about 1% of technically trans people. But they have so much power that if you say something that they would think, just because I don't like you doesn't mean but I don't like you. I hate you. I just don't like you. Because that phobia word, I've said it before, the phobia word is just stupid. Oh, you're transphobic. No, I'm not. I have never seen a person come to me who stand by beside me who was trans, and I'm like, oh, like if I was a phobic of a spider, I'd be like, oh my goodness, or stuff like that, arachnophobia, or if I'm in a closet, I just, that's phobia, irrational fear. I have that against lesbians or gay or homosexual or trans people. No, and I don't have that. But if you preach your stupid stuff and you're being super annoying, then yeah. Now the thing I was gonna say, which I don't have the magazine, my wife is a massage therapist, and she get that because of her school. She got a massage therapist magazine, and in the magazine, which is all about pressure and you gotta massage and techniques and all that stuff that I've seen. I don't know the whole thing. I know my wife will be says more than that, and maybe it is. I just glimpsed the pages, but a cover page, and I might show it at the end of the show. I might go and show it at the end of the show, but the cover page has talking about this, and then trans this. I'm like, why? What I gotta do with massaging? That's why like the tractor supplies and Bud Light and all that stuff. That's the thing that kill me. You make beer. Just give me beer. That's all it is. I don't need nothing else. I don't need to. Oh, Bud Lights for black people. I don't care for that. Just give me the drink. That's all I care about. You make John Deere. You make tractors. What that got to do with trans? I don't understand that. Or LGBTQ. Who you have sex with ain't got nothing to do with the tractor. Give me a tractor that works and do the job, and we can move on. That's all I need. And if it breaks down, you fix it. That's all I need. I don't care. If a woman could fix the tractor and come on and fix it and make it work, bring on the woman. If a guy comes out and want to do it, bring on the guy. If they do that, that's it. I don't care if he's gay or homosexual. Why? Because I'm not having sex with that person. So why do I care who they have sex with? I don't. And nobody does. It's so weird that you have to do that. And in my mind, I think the whole LGBTQ thing is basically white people because they don't have a minority thing. Because you notice, it's funny, if you're in a woman, you're gonna have to have a problem. But it's a way to sort of combat. Oh well, blacks are minorities, or Mexicans, or Latinos. Oh, we featurely different. No, they say, well, I'm gay, so I'm a more victim than you. No, you ain't. You could discriminate because you see the color of my skin, unless you're Joe Biden, because if I vote for him, I ain't white. But I don't know that you're homosexual because I'm not sleeping with you, and I do not care who you sleep with. Give me the product and move along. That's what it should be. That's what it definitely need to be. But going into this, like I said, they always get the what you call it, the situation wrong. That's why I say this. So everybody thinks, oh, the Indians. And I was, oh well, the white man came, the Europeans came over and enslaved the Indians and do all this stuff. Okay, Yeah, that happened. Columbus did the same thing too in the Caribbean. That happened. Let me help you out with something. You think the Indians was not doing that too? From my history, from the Carib and the Arawaks, I know they were fighting each other. Like Arawaks were more peaceful. The Caribs were more warrior like. Like sorry, it, the Mayans again. They were killing each other. Aztecs, the Mayans, they were slaughtering people for their tribal stuff. So don't miss me with the these were nice and beautiful people before the white people came over. They were just oh Big Bear, here's food, here's corn, here. All right, little axe, I'm gonna do no. They were slaughtering and killing people. They were raping women. They were slaves. That's why I say, by definition, when people say, "Well, I'm an ancestor of slavery," I'm like, by definition, every person on this planet has been, you know, has slavery in their history. Every person. And the thing about it, there are more slaves now than there were slaves back then. So here we go with this, because I'm happy that John tackled this part right here.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country.
Americans are taught that the people who once lived in what we now call America were stewards of the environment. They had
an ancient respect and connection to the land and water.
Disney movies made that their message.
I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name.
No, I don't think Native American hunters gave names to every rabbit in the woods around them. No, that's not a real thing that happened.
Political science professor Wilfred Riley's new book is Lies My Liberal Teacher Told Me.
We've gone into almost this cult-like romanticization of the natives who were great warriors and poets, but I mean, who hunted buffalo by driving herds of them off of 100-foot-tall cliffs.
Yet government guides for teachers say Native Americans lived in harmony with nature. There was love of every form of life. They didn't kill anything they couldn't use.
That's just objectively untrue. I mean, that would mean no young male warrior, no brave ever killed for sport. I mean, we just know that's false.
Why? Yes, it's false because again, they would have to learn to hunt in the first place, and not everything they hunt was going to be consumed. They did it again. Human nature.
I heard that. I believed it.
Well, I believed it too because I was 8.
The best-selling book, Lies My Teacher Taught Me, loved by teachers and students alike.
Riley's new book is a response to this hugely popular book. It correctly points out that American textbooks and media portrayed Columbus simply as a hero.
Land down! Hooray for Admiral Columbus!
Textbooks ignored Columbus's brutality and enslavement of Indians. Columbus himself wrote about his slaves, saying, "Indians make all our food, extract gold from the mines, and perform all other labors." The book was valid, right? Kids were being taught that Columbus is wonderful.
I don't necessarily think your focus should be white and native atrocities against one another in a 6th grade class.
Today, students are rarely taught that natives also took slaves.
That's the part that killed me. Who would think that? Like I said, if there were slaves in the Bible from the beginning, you think Indians didn't do it? Oh, not just because they're not Christians and they have their own thinking, they have their own gods. They were doing the same thing too.
And considered them objects of wealth.
That's human nature.
Morality of today didn't exist anywhere in the world until about 60 years ago.
White people did murder the natives cruelly. What's the...
Yes, they did. But also a lot of them Indians kill their own people or other tribes way more cruelly than you think.
harm in sending a counter message.
You don't need a counter message. No one denies that whites and Native Americans killed each other. Sure, in 1970, in some Southern schools, people might have been taught a jingoistic view of American history, but the reverse has been true for 40 years.
He says the old myths don't justify new ones, like the ones spread by today's social media influencers.
We know firsthand how to live in harmony with the natural world. In fact, we did so since time immemorial.
In reality,
says the guy who has two different. No, you did. We have, but let's be honest. We don't go fully against human nature. We do what we can to survive.
Memorial.
In reality, natives manipulated their environment.
Yep.
To make farming easier, they set big forest fires to
Clear the
clear
land.
land.
Giant forest fires. You're burning alive hundreds of thousands of small animals, slower running deer. You're probably killing members of other tribes. You're modifying the environment more bluntly.
U.S. government curriculum guides also claimed there was no prejudice, no major wars.
Nonsensical.
You serious? Really? No prejudice? Again, if the Houthis or Tutsis would kill each other because they have different noses, but they're all black, there were different types of Indians. There were light-skinned Indians, there were red-skinned Indians, there were dark-skinned Indians. Stop it. Oh my God, people who they lie to y'all.
In the Aztec capital, there were 90-foot towers of human skulls that were
Okay, exactly. What are these skulls for? I know they won't. I know they didn't craft skulls.
brought back from their defeated enemies.
Some tribes even practiced cannibalism,
Yep.
eating enemies they killed.
But still I cannot see if the savage one is me.
Yet the myth of peaceful natives lives on.
You don't know.
You're looking at people saying the absolute opposite of reality. When myths persist despite obvious objective reality, that's an indicator of a kind of brain virus among people who want the myth to be real.
Why does the myth of peaceful, harmonious living among Indians versus uniquely evil oppression by Europeans live on?
All this to me is just downstream from Marxism.
Marxism?
Not surprised.
Well, it is true that at colleges today, the most assigned economist is Karl Marx. Students are taught that Western values are bad. Critical race theory amplifies that.
White Americans have more because of racism.
Critical
There you go. Kendi is a race hustler. That's what he is. He's basically the new version of Al Sharpton, and he also is a
You piece of loser.
critical race theory is communist theory with the rich man replaced by the white man.
Westerners and white people being so evil. Why is it so popular?
I think that a lot of rich people don't like their father. There is a lot of dislike for our society among people who are pretty near the leadership class.
I think the people who teach these myths mean well. They want minorities to feel included. But teachers should at least also teach that America's sins were not unique. That just about every society had slavery. Cruel wars, and environmental destruction. The seldom taught good news is that in the last century, the West led the world in making things better.
The Geneva Convention saying that you can't abuse prisoners of war who tried to kill you, the last of those was signed in, I believe, 1949.
Most of the world is getting better, and the much maligned capitalist countries now are largely responsible for lifting people out of poverty and protecting the environment. They ought to teach that.
They ain't gonna teach that because they want to feel mightier than thou. Again, another part of human nature. You're selfish, but you want to pretend you're better than. Human nature just is. A lot of people don't understand how certain things are done. I said, you gotta understand how the world works, and that's what it is. I think a lot of Americans, including these leftist people, and I keep on saying it because they're a specific type of people. I don't hate. If you're a good white person, I don't hate white people. Like the people, oh, I'm black, but I don't hate white people. I don't hate black people. Even though the people that I just separate myself as a tribe from people who do ghetto, ignorant, stupid stuff. That's the black side, and I hate the certain white people who think they're better than that and try to be. It's like my father might have this, but I love all people. Let me pat you on the head. Let me give you a cookie because you're black. Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me. I could do things my daggone self. Just treat me like a normal person. Don't treat me like no damn pet or no little kid, okay? That's what it is. That's what it is. But let's see what I'm gonna go with. And going on that further, right now, Britain is going through some crazy stuff. France is going through it. Germany is going through it. What did I just say earlier at the time? Cultures clash. Yes, you can't have a culture who respect women live together with a culture who think women are lesser than. That's mostly African countries, and that's most Middle Eastern countries who think women are less than them. And those men are.
You piece of loser.
That's what those men are. But they learned the hard way. But then, hey, here comes the leftists once again. Take it away, Uncensored.
Leaders want to go after people they claim promote hate speech, including Americans. Can we trust politicians and the media to not hide the truth? Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Did you know YouTube has been secretly unsubscribing people from America Uncovered?
Yep, and they've been banning a lot of stuff for me as well too.
600,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And now, on with the show. The UK is going after the biggest threat to society, social media posts. Yep. And while I agree social media is a dumpster fire and we'd all be better off without it,
true.
Not like this.
Yeah.
Just one wrong post on Facebook and you might find yourself spending 20 months in jail.
You have been committed for sentence, having pleaded guilty to an offence of publishing written material which is threatening, abusive, or insulting, intending thereby to stir up racial hatred. The sentence that I pass has been reduced by 1/3 to reflect your guilty plea. The sentence is one of 20 months imprisonment.
Watch out, Americans. It turns out you're not safe either. London's Metropolitan Police Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley threatened to extradite and jail US and other non-UK citizens for certain online posts.
Allow yourself to slowly get, you're freaking crazy!
Come at me, UK, because I think it's stupid that you let people who don't understand, again, who do horrible stuff to people and fight and kill people. Like, that's what started this reason right here. Yes, the kid was a UK citizen. His parents were from Rwanda, and he's a second-generation immigrant. But he was hanging around he was hanging around a lot of the illegal immigrants in UK, and they turned him because he wanted to be cool. He wanted to be with the hip kids. So you want to be with the hip kids, and you be like a joke, a true out and out joke. That kid should go. He killed 3 kids. Nah, life imprisonment. Point blank, period. Done. That's where he should be. You killed 3 kids, man. That's crazy.
Do you want tea spilled in your harbor? Because this kind of tyranny is how you get tea spilled in your harbor. And if there were any doubts, the Director of Public Prosecutions in England and Wales made everything crystal clear.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offense.
While crack.
See, that's what I said about human nature. You keep on emphasizing that BS, just like some people say about the racism. Oh, racism to me is boogeyman. It's just there to scare people, just to make them whatever. No. You keep on doing that, and again, we came from an era where used to be sticks and stones could break my bones and words will never harm me. We're making these kids thin-skinned. That's what I call them, snowflakes. Snowflakes, thin-skinned children. Oh, John, you an a-hole. Oh my gosh, you call me an a-hole. Oh, arrest that man, officer. He called me an a-hole. Words are now a arrestable offense. If he said I'm gonna kill you and bash your brains in and do all this stuff, I get that. But the problem with it that kill me is you got actual people who are immigrants because you don't know who the heck they are, the illegals. You got them kicking, beating, and hurting British citizens, but the British citizens who are fighting to stop this and don't do nothing, they're going to jail. Now again, the people, the far right people who going out there and causing trouble and just beating up people for no reason, I'm not with that either. That's stupid. Not every immigrant is a bad people, so don't do that. But if they attack you first, protect your damn self, though. For dang sure.
Cracking down on racial hatred sounds good on the surface. The devil's in the details.
Exactly.
Who exactly determines what counts as insulting and abusive language?
Exactly.
I'm sure the government has a fun answer. But why is this all happening now? As you might have heard, the UK has just been rocked by nationwide riots.
Tonight, violence and vitriol on the streets of the United Kingdom, targeting migrants and mosques in an ugly eruption of anti-immigrant sentiment.
Ain't anti-immigrant, is anti-illegals, but whatever. They like to play that word so much easy.
For more than a week, riots breaking out in city after city.
And again, the white douchebags who are destroying buildings and stuff like that too, y'all are stupid too. Why burn down your own country? That's idiotic, okay? I get it. You don't like it or the other thing, but doing that also is not helping the situation. Do not burn down your own city. You're morons.
Cars torched in northeast England. Fires raging in Belfast in Northern Ireland. This hotel, used to house asylum seekers, set ablaze.
This all came about after a UK teen was accused of fatally stabbing 3 young girls and wounding 10 others.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What is that?
He killed 3 kids and fatally and wound 10 others. Again, sorry. You want to come to life imprisonment. Life.
At a Taylor Swift-themed dance class. Multiple rumors raged about the suspect. Some mentioned he was a fresh-off-the-boat Muslim asylum seeker, and others claimed he was on an intelligence watch list. Now, all of these
is false. But he hanged around people who were illegal immigrants, and he wanted to be with the cool kids. That's what the problem was.
These turned out to be false. UK authorities then announced that the suspect was a teen born in Wales to Rwandan parents. But by then, things had already snowballed into clashes all across the UK. This is fairly similar to riots in Ireland last year, where there was a horrific stabbing outside a school in Dublin that led to massive riots where people became riled up after hearing rumors that the stabber was originally from Algeria. And like Irish politicians in the mainstream media's reaction to those riots, in the case of the UK unrest, politicians and mainstream media were quick to cast the blame on the far right.
Just like in America, why the far-right groups attacking immigrants and Muslims? UK far-right riots, everything we know. Maybe if another culture didn't came and kill our kids, maybe we would, I don't know, maybe we would not be doing crazy stuff. Just a suggestion.
Right, and Islamophobia. They also claimed online disinformation sparked a wave of violence. But there's something, or rather someone, people put the blame for on the Irish and UK riots. African-American billionaire Elon Musk. People accuse Elon Musk and X of fueling far-right riots. Because anytime a riot happens, even when it's another country, an African-American gets blamed.
No, that's
Media
funny.
platforms out there. Why Musk and X? Well, Musk styles himself to be a free speech absolutist, and he's expressed opinions that don't really sit well with leftists. And an impressive commitment to horrible puns that nobody enjoys. Let that sink in. Ever since Musk purchased Twitter and rebranded it to X, many on the political left have been accusing Musk of providing a platform for the far right, which is terrible because they shouldn't have a voice. Only one side should be allowed to express their opinion publicly. That's how democracy works.
Exactly.
Right? Many even claim Musk himself is a far-right activist and promotes far-right politics. This is despite the fact that Musk has historically been a moderate Democrat who supported Obama.
Yeah, until they shot Trump, which we're gonna be getting into that. We're also gonna do tonight that I'm gonna just get the small version of the interview between Trump and Elon Musk.
But how you see yourself doesn't matter. It's only how the world perceives you. And you can't expect people to treat you by how you identify. Democrats are always saying that, right?
Exactly.
They go so far as to claim Musk is trying to stoke civil war in the UK through his X posts, such as the time he claimed civil war is inevitable. So by commenting on what he's seeing, he's responsible for what he's seeing.
I know, right?
The UK government slammed Musk for his comments and called on Musk to act responsibly. And, I kid you not, some say the UK should punish Musk with travel bans, sanctions, or even criminal prosecution. Yes, Musk must stand on trial for the UK riots. We went from turning memes into dreams to turning memes into misdemeanors.
Nah.
I don't think that one's as catchy. Musk is surely the global far-right's most significant figure, which is Pepe the Frog erasure. But are Musk and X solely to blame for the riots? No. The riots didn't come about in a vacuum from disinformation or Musk alone. As much as government officials and mainstream media outlets like to simply dismiss the UK rioters as far-right bigots and Islamophobes, there are genuine concerns many have. To begin with, there have been a lot of migrants moving to the UK. So many that some even come in via small boats to claim asylum. And this has many worrying that they are contributing to the rise in Britain's violent crime rates. This all comes as there have recently been murders and rapes committed by migrants and Muslims. In fact,
sink in for that one. Newcastle grooming gang jail for 13-year-old girl.
What? What the fuck?
Yeah, like I said, a culture that does not respect women is moving to a culture that kind of respect women. You're gonna have a clash.
By migrants and Muslims. In fact, Muslims make up a disproportionately large chunk of criminals in UK jails.
Oh,
I really
wow.
hope I don't get extradited to the UK for this episode.
Eh.
But UK officials, like those in the US and the rest of the West, really don't want people to link crime to minorities. They want to tackle bias against ethnic minorities in the justice system. But for them to do that, government officials and media outlets in the West have decided to downplay or even hide data about minorities committing crime. For example, British police ignored Pakistani gangs abusing 1,400 children for over 15 years. And just so we're clear,
No, son of a bitch!
Bourgeoisie, as they call it, leftists will really want. They're flipping nuts. Let's repeat that. Let's see that again. Why did the Britain police abuse of Pakistani gangs who are abusing 1,400 1,400.
For over 15 years. And just so we're clear, abusing means gang rape and sex trafficking.
Good Lord.
Why was this allowed to happen for so long? Well, political correctness. People certainly couldn't point to non-natives committing atrocious crimes. As ridiculous as that might sound, it's devastatingly true. According to the report that exposed this, most of the girl victims were white and their abusers Pakistani. And police and social workers didn't want to be accused of racism. It's gotten to the point that people are being punished.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Y'all are so scared to be accused of being racist, that boogeyman, that y'all will take away your morals and throw them away. Cause what? You're selfish. You wanna look holier than thou. And like I said, human nature.
Punished just for being honest. A university researcher and her team in Sweden are facing severe backlash for showing that most rapes are committed by immigrants. So it's not difficult to understand why many fear that European leaders are selling them out in favor of a wave of migrants. They're worried about being invaded and their culture changed, which is a fair concern because if anyone knows anything about colonizing, it's the British. This sentiment has only grown in the UK, especially with reports of a Catholic church being desecrated by vandals without much outcry, and government officials largely being silent about lots of attacks not associated with the far right, like this attack in Northern Ireland, or this attack on a defense company facility near Bristol, or this attack on a pub, or heck, even people.
Yeah, that one right there, which they did quick. See what I'm talking about? That one's crazy. Those guys beat up a guy. He didn't do nothing. He didn't say nothing. He was us outside of the pub, and they came in and started beating this man up. I'm sorry.
We attempted to report live. It became clear the media weren't welcome.
A sense of anger, I think you can hear there.
We decided to leave, but as we drove away, this man, armed with a knife, attempted to slash a tyre on one of our vans.
Many Americans look at this and wonder if their own migrant crisis could turn into a situation like the one happening in the UK.
Yes.
Especially given all the horror stories coming out involving migrant suspects. I really hope I don't get extradited to the UK. As things stand, the UK government is focusing on protecting Muslims and punishing the far right. So who gets to decide what counts as hate speech? Does simply saying that certain demographics are statistically more likely to engage in crime count as a crime? Seems so in Sweden. What about criticizing policies that encourage illegal immigration? Can we expect the UK to be consistent with its own rules?
No.
Will it scrutinize speech that makes white people and Christians look bad? As you might expect from free speech advocates, many see the UK's moves as straight up Orwellian. Let that sink in. Which brings us to the latest in the feud between Musk and European officials. With the UK riots fresh in people's memories, Europe's Commission for Internal Market sent this letter to Musk, just ahead of Musk's live X conversation with former US President Donald Trump. The letter warned Musk that he had obligations to prevent amplification of harmful content, and that the EU would make full use of its toolbox to protect EU citizens from serious harm.
That's not your... Wait. Hold up.
Motherfucker. That don't even make no goddamn sense.
So, because Trump and Elon were just talking, you use all the tools to protect the citizen, but you have actual people hitting you, raping your little girls, doing horrible stuff in your country, and you let them go?
Holy Jesus. What is that? What is that?
That makes no sense. That's where I don't like government to be as powerful as they are, because they don't give a crap about the citizens. They just care about themselves. They are the bourgeoisie. That's the problem I have with daggone government being so powerful. That's why literally why I'm a libertarian. I want less government.
In other words, you'd better censor anything that Europeans think is too harmful on X, or else. Yes, another instance of the only way to save democracy is by ending democracy and free speech.
Exactly. That's what it is. any democracy and free speech. That's what it is. And speaking of that situation, I want to keep on going because, again, I came to America and I was ignorant. I am ignorant. I don't know every single thing, and ignorant is not doesn't mean you can't insult me. Say, oh, hey, yeah, oh, take you ignorant. Okay, if I don't of what? If I don't know how the subject is, then. But if I know how it is, I gladly would. Okay, tell me how it works. Oh, okay, all right. Then I know if I'm not if that ignorant. But I bet you I'm not ignorant in certain things. But I was ignorant when I came to America. I was like, okay, how does this voting thing work? So we don't win. So the president don't win by popular the vote. Okay. And first, I was like, well, that's kind of crazy if popular vote. But then when I found out, oh wait, we are a Democratic Republic and we need representatives. Okay, and we need electoral college. Okay, and oh, you know what? I like the electoral college because pure democracy. Like I said again, we will vote for the selfish and stupid means, and pure democracy. And also, we literally every time we get pure democracy, we vote for our own demise. Romans, Egyptians, Greeks, look at their society. Constantinople, look at their society. They vote for the demise. Again, Sodom and Gomorrah. They vote for the demise. So people are stupid. Generally speaking, they're stupid. That's why you don't want pure democracy. Because that will destroy everything. But let me help a little education here let me give you a little education about it. I didn't know that, but I know now. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that.
Replace the Electoral College with a national popular vote to save democracy. Could this seriously backfire?
Yes.
Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Did you know YouTube has been seeking democracy? But elections couldn't be more of a contentious issue in the U.S. these days, especially as the 2024 presidential elections ramp up. Because of that, people are talking about the Electoral College, a massively important part of U.S. elections that determines who becomes president every 4 years. A quick refresher for those who forgot, Americans don't use direct popular vote to determine the next U.S. president.
Hallelujah. Amen. Thank the Lord. Jesus, thank you for letting those white men put that in the Constitution so we cannot F ourselves over. Thank you. Thank you, white man.
Each state gets to vote. While people do vote for their least unfavored candidate on election day,
most cases,
what they're actually doing is telling their state's electors who to vote for. There are 538 electors across the country, and the candidate who gets the most of those becomes president. Each state is given one elector for each member of the House of Representatives and Senate it has. The number of representatives are based on population size, while the number of senators is fixed at 2 for each state. Electors are usually nominated and voted on at state party conventions. In most states, the electoral system works on a winner-take-all basis. This means the party that receives the majority of the popular vote gets all the electoral votes. For example,
which I wish, and now I know that, I wish he wasn't that part. But that's the state by state, so I get it.
If 51% of people in California vote for Harris, then the Democratic Party's electors get all of California's 54 electoral votes.
And that's one of the reasons I don't want a popular vote. Why? Because okay, check this out already. They already rigged it that if it's this number right here, California goes blue anyway. Now you want to go 100% population? California and New York will be the 2 states that will control the whole country. And again, look at California and New York. They're the most shittiest states in the country. Excuse my French. I don't want California ruling over America because it's trash. Utter gutter trash.
None go to Republicans, which is why Republicans in California are always so mad. It turns out lots of Americans aren't big fans of the Electoral College. In fact, almost 2/3 of Americans prefer a popular vote. After all,
because they don't know how the system works and they're stupid.
That's how we select American idols. And is the presidency really any different?
I don't always have one, two.
No, it's no different. But it's I know I see the flaw.
Democrats especially prefer a popular vote. And even Republicans are divided on the issue. Not surprising, since in this century, Democrats won the popular vote but lost the presidency due to the Electoral College system not once but twice. The 2000 election between George Bush and Al Gore, and the 2016 election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. They literally won a popularity contest, but were still considered losers. Kind of like being voted the winner in a Paul Giamatti lookalike contest. And of course, Trump's presidential election especially made people deranged, which is why many are now in favor of abolishing the Electoral College. But killing the Electoral College would require an amendment to the U.S. Constitution, since the system is enshrined in it. Amending that isn't realistic unless you can get political consensus.
Thank you, God, Jesus. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They're going to try to destroy this country in other ways. But at least that way they can't do that one.
But this is America. So that hasn't stopped people from criticizing it.
Yep.
The Washington Post says the Electoral College, whatever virtues it may have had for the Founding Fathers, is no longer tenable for American democracy.
We live in a republic, not a democracy.
The New York Times says the Electoral College, which is written into the Constitution, is more than just a vestige of the founding era. It is a living symbol of America's original sin.
Oh,
sorry, Internet, you were wrong. It turns out the New York Times is Catholic. So, broadly speaking, there are a couple of arguments critics of the Electoral College make. One is that it's racist, established by the Founding Fathers to protect Southern slave states as part of a compromise. You see, since electors are determined by representatives, and representatives are determined by population, Southern states with slaves would have more power because of their larger population.
But again, nobody knows the history. I'll let him explain it.
The Northern states didn't want slaves to count at all, since they weren't being treated as human beings anyway. But in this one very particular case, the slave owners wanted them to be their equals. Weird. So they came up with the 3/5 compromise, where one slave counted as 3/5 of the person, which was not really an advantage for the slave states compared to free states. One American historian even points out that the slave population didn't really give Southern states a particular advantage until after Northern states abolished slavery and they counted as full people. And that was decades after the Electoral College was formed. Nonetheless, people like AOC claim that the Electoral College is a shadow of slavery's power on America today.
Really? Really? Like I said, AOC's an idiot, so I ain't gonna worry about this.
On America today. But if the Electoral College truly is pro-slavery, it's done an awful job. It brought into power John Quincy Adams, an anti-slavery hero, and Abraham Lincoln, the president who ended slavery. Neither of them probably would have been elected in office had there been a direct popular vote. Anyway, the everything is racist argument is running out of steam these days. So the other argument against the Electoral College is that it undermines democracy by allowing a president to be in office without earning the popular vote. The progressive Brennan Center for Justice calls the Electoral College one of the most fundamentally undemocratic parts of U.S. elections.
Well, we are a republic. Again, one. And again, how are you gonna say that? Brennan Center for Justice. I bet you would say this. You would say that, and Kamala Harris, who's not gotten one electoral vote ever, she dropped out in 2019, never picked up a vote. That also goes to the black people who say, "Oh, I'm gonna vote for Kamala because it's black." Why didn't you vote for her when she won in 2020? You could have put her in front of Joe Biden, but you didn't. She dropped out before anybody else, and now Joe Biden didn't get no votes because he was a presumptive. He didn't nobody challenge him. RFK had to go to another, had to be an independent to get anything. And Kamala ain't got no votes, and she's the nominee now. Nobody voted for her. So how will that democracy work?
one that enables a tyranny of the minority. And here I thought progressives were all about minorities. The issue is that the Electoral College, by design, gives people in small states like Wyoming and North Dakota a lot more power than, say, a direct popular voting system would. Voters in Wyoming, for example, have nearly 4 times as much influence as California voters do, since the number of residents each elector represents is much lower there. If it were up to a popular vote, California would have way more influence than Wyoming.
Yep.
That's why the Washington Post editorial board says it's time to let the majority rule. But
hell no. Hell no.
The Founding Fathers were well aware that majorities left unchecked can threaten minorities by accumulating too much power. That's why they designed not just the Electoral College, but the entire U.S. government to function in a way that balances what the majority wants with protections for state governments and minority interests. One proof? Look no further than the U.S. Senate, which gives every state 2 senators regardless of population. Heck, even the way bills get passed reflects America's protections for minorities from majorities through things like congressional committees, filibusters, and judicial reviews. Critics dismiss talk of majority tyranny as just an excuse to get in the way of the people's will. But think about this. The Electoral College actually forces whoever wants to be president to appeal to a diversity of voters nationwide. And it's more than just racial diversity. It protects citizens in small states from being crushed by big states. Do you really want California to determine the future of the country? For a country as large and diverse as the U.S., there are all sorts of political, economic, and ideological interests. What people in the cities want and need aren't always the same as rural farmers or factory workers. The U.S. system isn't meant to just reward politicians with the largest number of voters alone. It intentionally rewards those who can manage to bring together the most different types of voters across a broad geographic constituency. Both Al Gore and Hillary Clinton seem to have ignored this and lost as a result. You can see Al Gore's electoral votes were less dispersed, which means...
And that's why we have to, because as again, most, as you can see, this is Al Gore, most of these cities like New York, whatever, like I said, California, it's because of the population or whatever. There's more red than blue. But because they live in the big cities, they get away with a lot more crap. And those cities are the ones who, like I said, they waste the money, they do the money the worst ways, and then they should tell the counties and the smaller towns how to live their life. No, it should not be that way.
Means less diverse than Bush's. The same for Hillary Clinton's.
Again, this is Hillary Clinton. That's what it is. Most of these are cities and everything. Again, in Texas, they have blue stuff.
Against Trump's. They focused on appealing to a very narrow demographic as opposed to a wide variety of voters.
Exactly.
Personally, I'm shocked saying she keeps hot sauce in her purse wasn't enough to win Hillary Clinton, Wisconsin. If the Electoral College was eliminated, candidates would be rewarded for focusing solely on the biggest cities while neglecting voters everywhere else.
Exactly.
And given how high populated places like New York City and San Francisco have voted for policies that they're now regretting, I'm not sure the rest of the nation is interested in giving them even more influence to determine who should be president. Obviously, talking about elections on YouTube is very controversial.
It is. So if on YouTube, if you guys are there, again, like, subscribe, share, get the algorithm up, help a brother out here when we talk about this. That's what needed. Okay. I want to talk about, and then I got 2 more things before we go into, one more thing I want to do before going into Trump's video, so you guys, because a lot of people didn't watch the Trump stuff because Trump and Elon Musk, because they had a DDoS attack. And they were talking about, I wish I don't have the video. Dang it, I don't have the video. I like the video where it was some lefties who was like, oh, Trump was slurring and stuff, not knowing that the technologies that they were getting a DDoS attack. And this person was being a real jackwagon on it. Oh, well, Trump is this. And come to find out, he froze up as well, too. So you can say all you want, but there you go. That's what happened to Elon Musk and Trump, and it happened to you, y'all.
you piece of loser.
But I want to talk about another part of human nature that kills me that people don't understand. Not knowing economics hurt a lot of human beings to doing what they need to do right. Here's another thing that they don't understand. I always said this. People are like, oh, we need to, because I've heard many people, we need to cap rents and stuff like that. The government capping a rent quickly creates slumlords. Are there slumlords without the government? Yes, but the majority of them starts because of government. You telling me and there's a simple way to do it. Right in the bill, if you stay as a tenant and you cool, and if there's no big changes with inflation, then the rent won't rise. But if inflation happen, then it rise up 2-3%. That's how you write a bill, so you could do that, so the landlord could still get money because of outside circumstances that cause rent, and you can get a nice rent. It will go up because it has to go up, but not by shocking like, oh, it's $1,200 now. Because people always do those shows and they're like, oh, my rent was $600, now it's $1,200. Yeah, it's because of the big jump, because somebody else bought the building, the renters sold the building, so you have a lease with them or title with them, and that's what happened. Rent control is not good. Because again, I have a fixed interest on my house, but I'm paying $200 over where my mortgage will be because my escrow went up because what? Property tax went up, power bill went up, water bill went up, all these went up because of inflation. But people don't understand that. But I'll make it simple here.
Getting a break from the heat, those extreme temperatures are still fresh in everybody's mind. So much so, there's a new bill in the city council that would require air conditioning to be provided to all of the city's renters.
So free air conditioners for all the apartments in the city. You know what? This might sound cool, but everyone knows landlords, they're not just going to buy things for people out of the goodness of their hearts. Instead, they're going to get the tens of thousands of dollars needed to outfit every one of their apartments with ACs by jacking up their rents. Only this time, critics say the city will be forcing them to do it during the worst housing crisis we've had in the last 50 years.
You are unlawfully blocking the entrance to this building.
Tonight, some 2 million New Yorkers learned they will have to pay more to live in their rent-stabilized apartments, and some of the tenants did not take the news well at all.
Well, we would expect the government raised the stuff. The tenants, the landlord has to pay more money.
Every year the rent goes up, they will send us to a shelter, to a family shelter, but I cannot go there with my mother.
Tenant organizations argue that any increase will have devastating.
Housing is not a human right unless you build it yourself. If you ain't build it yourself, housing is not a human right. Rent rollbacks, not this scam. I'll help you people. Stop voting for these politicians and telling these politicians to go spend money on other things. Your taxpayer money should be enough to help stuff, but they don't do it because they want to get votes and stay in office and also take money from you. This is New York now.
Devastating consequences for low-income families. A new bill introduced Thursday would require all New York City landlords to provide air conditioning to their tenants.
Owners cannot afford to do this in many, many buildings.
With the rent that I make from the building, I cannot even pay the utilities.
Landlords who
exactly
testified argued they're operating at a loss and need to be able to cover basic operating costs.
Tenants who attended the meeting did not hold back their disappointment. Some even took their frustration to the streets.
The increases will affect stabilized leases that begin on or after October 1st.
Again, that's what people... The answer is to move out of cities. I'm going to be honest with you. That's what the answer is. Move out the cities. If you want to be that, but people don't understand that. That's why I move out of the city.
Rents in the city are now so high, many New Yorkers are effectively prisoners, stuck in apartments they can't move out of. But what nobody's talking about is that things are about to get even worse for renters, because if landlords are forced to buy all kinds of new stuff and include perks that don't normally come with apartments today, the rent tomorrow is just gonna go up. Which is a massive problem considering rents themselves are already unacceptably high, with New York City having the lowest vacancy rate it's had in the last 50 years. And this has created a situation where the only apartments available to be moved into are so expensive, most people can't move into them, which is why many people now feel trapped financially and physically in small apartments they can't leave. Which means growing families cannot stretch their legs, people stop getting married and moving in together, and even professionals with $100,000 a year salaries are forced to live in tiny little rooms just like they did in college, only into their late 30s until they either move out of the city altogether or get some massive raise or win the lottery. And if that doesn't sound bad enough, many landlords say that the rents they're getting aren't enough to pay their bills because the relentless fees, utility costs, and taxes the city requires them to pay are so high, they say the rent has to go even higher. And that brings us to the real reason why critics say we've got rents in this city no one can afford. It's because the government is taking too big a cut out of the housing market at a time when nobody can afford the places they're living in. And they've figured out how to do it while getting tenants to hate their landlords who say that they're in a no-win situation. Yet even now, some of our leaders insist landlords should be spending even more money on their apartments. And although they say it's for health reasons and will save lives, critics say that the plans we've got on the table now are just gonna make more people homeless in the future.
That's the part that killed me. They don't understand. Is the government a lot of money. We give the government thousands. That's why inflation is what it is right now. That's why inflation was up to 9% in 2020, in 2022. Funny after the daggone Inflation Reduction Act, which helped what? I don't know what it helped, because I read the bill. The bill was crappy. It was going to cause more inflation. Shocking, I know, surprising, right? But it caused that. Again, insurance went up. The city now is taking more money and charging more taxes. It's go up. Yeah, that's the problem. If all Americans could come together and say, government, stop wasting our money and put it towards the citizens like it's supposed to be. Kick out, again, deport people if you got to deport people, all that other stuff. Maybe we got inflation. I went back and looked at the inflation over the last 60 years. And there was some years, sadly, there's some of them was on one of them was under Reagan. There you go. There was negative inflation. We always gonna have inflation, but it was couple times it was negative inflation with a couple of some Democrats. We had a lot more underneath. We had a lot more underneath Republicans leadership. Just saying, as a nation, every city, every state's a whole different story. I'm not going that part. So, just that, and it's like I said, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. They're gonna learn out that way. So let me get into the main story right now and go from here. So a lot of people did not watch the Trump and Elon Musk interview, and I think it was a very productive interview. So let's hear some clips of it, and then we'll call it a night after that. Okay.
Donald Trump recently had a several-hour-long interview with SpaceX and Tesla owner Elon Musk. And when I tuned in on X, there were over 1.3 million live listeners. But apparently, they got over 73 million views overall, with the surrounding posts generating nearly 1 billion views in the first day alone. As many people wanted to hear Donald Trump, unfiltered, seemingly incredibly reasonable.
Would it be accurate to say that you're supportive of legal immigration, but we also need to shut down illegal immigration and especially unvetted illegal immigration, because I think most people who are illegal immigrants are actually good, but you can't tell the difference unless there's a solid vetting of who comes across the border. Does that accurately represent your position?
I say it very simply. They have to come in legally.
So after the DDoS attacks on X's servers, Kamala's campaign set out the media's marching orders of Trump slurring, which they were proudly parroting.
In his rhetoric last night than he has been on the rally stage. At times he seemed to sort of slur his words a little bit.
And as USA Today repeated their Trump slurs slogan, they also painted Elon as fascism curious. But they were far from the only ones bashing them both, as basically the entire corporate dinosaur media rushed in to repeat the same two talking points. Yep. So before we get into breaking down their over 2-hour-long conversation into just the highlights and how the left is completely melting down over it, I just want to point out just made him seem more relatable to a lot of Americans.
Start off with, his attempt, which was an incredible thing, and I have to say that your actions after that attempt were inspiring. You instead of shying away from things, instead of ducking down, you were pumping your fist in the air and saying fight, fight, fight. And I think that's, the president of the United States represents America, and I think that is America. That is strength under fire.
The bigger miracle was that I was looking in the exact direction of the shooter, and so it hit me at an angle that was far less destructive than any other angle. So that was the miracle. That was for those people that don't believe in God. I think we got to all start thinking about that. You have to, I'm a believer now. I'm more of a believer, I think, and a lot of people have said that to me. A lot of great people have said that to me, actually.
And I'm willing to bet at least some of those 73 million people that tuned in were for the first time hearing Donald Trump for who he actually is, not the spooky boogeyman the media so desperately tries to portray him as, which is in stark contrast to how the same publication portrays Harris. And what's even more pathetic, as in that same issue of Time, Harris apparently declined to be interviewed by them, and yet they still went to their knees to publish a fluff piece for her. They're like the news publication version of a simp subscribing to an OnlyFans, except in this scenario, she actually does screw them, albeit in a different way. But then Trump went into how Kamala stole his no tax on tips policy.
Kamala was the border czar. Now she's denying it. Everything that I do, she's saying she was strong on the border. We're going to be strong. Well, she doesn't have to say it. She could close it up right now. They could do things right now. It's horrible. Exactly. No tax on tips. And all of a sudden she's making a speech and saying there will be no tax on tips. I said that months ago. And by the way, they had just the opposite. They had not only tax on tips, but they hired 88,000 IRS agents, and many of them were assigned to go get waitresses and caddies and all of this.
And it's true. Back in June, Trump was saying this.
I will be saving Social Security, and I'm going to work it out that there's no tax on Social Security for seniors.
I'm cool with that. You're not saving Social Security because we don't have enough people to prop up Social Security. It's gonna fall. I know I'm not gonna get Social Security, even though I've been working since I was 16. I've been putting money towards Social Security since I was 16 years old. Never missed 1 year. I'm not gonna get it. I'm supposed to get a nice Social Security if the system was the way it is, but we don't have it. So that. But don't tax the Social Security. Yeah, it's kind of weird that you take the Social Security tax from me. I got to 65 years old. And then you're going to my mom's, because my mom just said that too, because I was talking to her. They're going to tax her Social Security.
What? What the fuck?
How greedy is this government?
Also doing no tax on tips. No tax on tips.
Going to restaurants, leaving huge tips.
I'm going to give you $500. You guys all split it up.
Look at that. Can Kamala do that? No, she can't.
Thank you.
Writing in bold text, vote Trump, no tax on tips. But somehow now, Kamala's saying the same thing.
And eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
Despite being the deciding vote on a bill hiring all those IRS agents.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the bill, as amended, is passed.
So when they pressed the press secretary about it...
Over the weekend, Vice President said she followed former President Donald Trump in saying she would support a proposal that would not tax tipped wages.
Absolutely. Look, this is something that the president supports.
So why did he increase the tax on tips in 2022 with the Inflation Act. If you read the bill, they literally said we're gonna go after taxes if you get, and also if you want a Vim or whatever, they dropped it down that if you make any money beyond $600 on Venmo, on Venmo, on Cash App, on Zelle, you gonna pay taxes on it. Man, y'all are such full of nonsense.
He supports eliminating taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
So Kamala's always been on the side of the American people, except for those last 3 years as vice president and these last couple months as Biden has basically disappeared, where apparently they'll do absolutely nothing until it's election season. And now they have to pretend to care, campaigning about all those things Kamala might do later, as if she couldn't currently do it in office right now. And what's worse, if Trump campaigns on stop taxing tips, CBS says it'll...
This is why I say I don't like news media, and I got to get different sources. Because if you don't, again, Ground News is a good source to go do that. Groundnews.com. I don't have an affiliate link on none of that stuff. I'm just telling you where to go because it tells you how the left is handling it and how the right is handling it. You know, but you need all the spectrum to understand the news. Hey, take a good look at this. Former President Donald Trump vows to stop tax tipping would cost the federal government, which I don't give a rat's about the federal government, $250 billion over 10 years, according to a nonpartisan watchdog. Nonpartisan, my ass.
It'll cost the feds too many billions. But when Kamala says...
The same CBS News, Vice President Kamala Harris is rolling out a new policy position, saying she will fight to end taxes on tips for the service and hospitality workers. Oh, wow. But where's that $2 billion you just put on Trump?
Is it 2 months later, it's suddenly a new policy position that fights for service and hospitality workers. No matter how much you despise the corporate media, it's not enough.
Exactly, because they're literally pieces of crap. Corporate media is that.
Later in the interview, Trump and Elon discuss the current administration's crumbling economy.
The thing that they really is making them angry is what Kamala and Biden have allowed to happen to the economy. It's a disaster with inflation.
A lot of people just don't understand where inflation comes from. Inflation comes from government overspending because the check never bounce when it's written by the government. So if the government spends far more than it brings in, that increases the money supply. And if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services, that's inflation. I mean, I think it would be great to just have a government efficiency commission that takes a look at these things and just ensures that the taxpayer money, the taxpayers' hard-earned money, is spent in a good way.
How about the taxpayers' money just go towards simple things and everything else we leave to every state to do that? It won't even be it will be tens of thousands of dollars will go back into regular people's pocketbooks, and it really would affect what's going around you locally more better. We don't need a federal to do that. Protect the country. Yes, we do need a CDC. We do need a FAA. Because again, I do watch a thing called Mayday Mayday. We do need a FAA. We do need a CDC. We do need a Food and Drug Administration. Take some powers away from them a little bit. We do need an EPA. I get that. Take some powers away. We don't give them the full power because some of their powers is godlike and is absolutely bullcrap. We do need certain things, yes. We do not need a permanent education. Don't need that at all. Don't need that. That could go. All the other stuff could go towards local government.
And I'd be happy to help out on such a commission.
I'd love
if it were formed.
Well, you're the greatest cutter. I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in and you just say, "You want to quit?" They go on strike. I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike, and you say, "That's okay. You're all gone. You're all gone." So every one of you is gone, and you are the greatest. You would be very good. Oh, you would love it.
So Trump brings up a valid point about inflation. Elon says he has a reasonable solution, and they pretty much come to a conclusion that Musk would be the best man to solve it. The media didn't get to cut away for a negative spin, progressives don't get to shove inclusion initiatives in, and bottom line, most Americans agree with everything that was said. So that's probably why they were so desperate to shut this down.
Elon Musk is slated to interview Donald Trump tonight on X. What role does the White House or the president have in sort of stopping that or stopping?
None. Literally none. And you, sir, are...
You piece of loser.
Because that's why, again, forefathers, the white men, put it in there. Literally, you can't say, because you know what? That is literally the First Amendment. Government shall not hold, okay, withheld speech. Government shall not withheld speech. You ask the government to withheld the speech that they're having? No. That's literally against the First Amendment. And you should know that as a reporter. But you're an idiot.
Spread of that, or sort of intervening in that. Some of that was about campaign misinformation, but you know, it's a wider thing. Right?
We have the right to listen to any information, misinformation, whatever, all the stuff. It's up to us to make sure there's misinformation. If somebody tells me, hey, 1 + 1 = 2, I said, okay, 1. If I have 1 pliers and a second pliers, I have 2 pliers. But if they say 1 + 1 = 5, no, that's 1 and 2. It equals 5. That's up to me to know that 1 + 1 = 2, not 5. Flipping hell. Should be that.
And you've heard us talk about this many times from here, about the responsibilities that social media platforms have when it comes to misinformation, disinformation. Don't have anything to read out from here about specific ways that we're working on it, but we believe that they have the responsibility.
Yeah. Americans hearing a simplified explanation of how the Biden administration is causing inflation, so Elon offers his time to fix it. Someone notorious for cutting out bloating organizations while managing to increase productivity. This is what the news media and the White House is so desperate to stop us from hearing? Why are they so afraid of us hearing common sense? Because after Trump agreed Elon should be in charge of efficiency, Trump actually started to think Elon could help him in dismantling the Department of Education.
What I'm going to do, one of the first acts, and this is where I need an Elon Musk. I need somebody that has a lot of strength and courage and smarts. I want to close up Department of Education, move education back to the states, where states like Iowa, where states like Idaho, you know, not every state will do great, because states that basically aren't doing good now. You look at Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. He's terrible. He does a terrible job. So he's not going to do great with education. But of the 50, I would bet that 35 would do great.
I mean, I think the only thing that's going to force some of these states to change is if they risk bankruptcy and they're not getting bailed out by the federal government.
Exactly.
I just love how even Trump knows California's governor is called Gavin Newsom. Because it's true. You can't name one program in California that outperforms its counterparts in other states. And the mass exodus of citizens from a state proves it. And why wouldn't we want to cut the bloat out of our education system? It's not like anybody believes our schools are improving. So might as well eliminate the millions of dollars going to administrators several states away and let the local districts decide how to best educate their students. But again, no matter what Trump says, the news media can't help but spin it as evil, as CNN tried to paint their discussion on nuclear power negatively.
And Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So it's really not something that, you know, so it's not as scary as people think, basically.
So that was more Elon Musk than Donald Trump talking about, sort of suggesting that what happened almost 80 years ago, I think 80 years ago next year, the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, now it's okay.
When in actuality,
that's not what he said.
It was a reasonable point.
You know, people have this fear of nuclear electricity generation, but it's actually one of the safest forms of electricity generation. It's just a huge misunderstanding. If you look at the injuries and deaths, you know, caused by, say, I mean, I'm not going to try to pick on coal mining, but just any kind of mining operation, and there's a certain number of injuries and deaths per year. And you compare that to nuclear. Nuclear is actually way better.
Maybe they'll have
sort
to
of
change the
have
name.
it,
The name is just, it's a rough name. There are some areas like
it's rough
like when
name.
you see what happened in
Good bad
right.
branding. The
We'll have to
branding's rough.
rebrand it. We'll have to give it a good name. We'll name it after you or something.
It does have a branding problem.
When you see what happened in Japan, where they say you won't be able to go on the land for about 3,000 years. Did you ever see that?
It's actually not that bad. So like after Fukushima happened in Japan, like people were asking me in California, are we worried about like a nuclear cloud coming from Japan? I'm like, no, that's crazy. It's actually, it's not even dangerous in Fukushima. I actually flew there and ate locally grown vegetables on TV to prove it.
So Trump.
I mean, and here's the thing. I almost did the exact same thing as Elon Musk did as well too. Okay, after because I went to Japan in 2015 and I was over there. Now, did I see the devastation? It was bad. It was horrible, but it wasn't as. But I don't think I have radiation in me or whatever, and stuff like that. And also, another thing people always talk about, again, another point of human nature I need to point out. Wars. Everybody talking about the war and human nature and everything. Like, it should be this and that. Look, I'll tell you this right here. There's only two ways to end wars. And most of them does not end with a treaty. Only up to now, most have been with treaty. But the only way to stop a war is to be basically beat the crap out of them so they don't you beat them down so they don't stand back up. That's the most he is. And again, if it wasn't for Japanese emperor at the time, because the president told them, the president back, I forgot his he told Japanese emperor, back down or I'll drop these bombs. Eisenhower. He had told him back down and drop. He's like, you're not gonna stop us. Blah 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 blah. Okay, one ball drop. Hiroshima dropped down. Bam. All right, I dropped one bomb. You see how bad it is. Stop fighting, and we could done with this. Oh, we ain't gonna drop the second one on Nagasaki. Then the Japanese, okay. We stop. Yes, it was a horrible thing that they dropped nuclear bombs on Japan, but I'm telling you right now, if they didn't, it'd have been a bloody war. Because if you look at a lot of the wars back before that, when you look at the Japan and Korean War, the Japan and Chinese War, of course, World War II, World War II, yeah. Look, all that wars, the craziest wars and stuff like that. Same thing with the Mongolians, the same thing with Alexander the Great. You had to outright break them down so they could back off. War is a devastating thing, but it's human nature because we are violent creatures as well.
Trump and Elon are talking about clean energy and how nuclear power is overregulated because normal people don't realize how long places stay irradiated, and CNN somehow tried to twist it into an insensitive comment about what happened to Japan in World War II.
The Biden administration finally agreed to ban Peter Daszak and EcoHealth Alliance.
I'm letting this commercial play because, again, this is one of Rand Paul. I'm happy that you got a chance. You did this. You fought hard for this, and they did do this.
It's from receiving any more funding for gain-of-function research. You'll recall EcoHealth Alliance and Peter Daszak were the ones that were funding the research in Wuhan, China. This is a great victory. But this is only the beginning. It's time to take things a step further and prosecute Dr. Fauci for lying to Congress.
Yes, that...
You piece of loser.
Needs to go to jail. But he's an old rickety-ass man anyway.
He still insists he didn't fund gain-of-function research.
Which he did.
We now know it's a lie. It's time that he be prosecuted. Add your name to Stand With Me.
So no wonder everybody knows that CNN is a complete joke.
I know you guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is. Oh, I know. CNN makes a... I know.
Was that supposed to be a laugh line?
I wasn't supposed to be, but I guess it is.
And these weren't regular people like you and me. These were people in deep blue New York City that sacrificed their entire evening to go watch the far-left Colbert Show live. And even they laughed in the face of CNN being labeled objective, because the truth is coming out as Trump discussed Biden implementing lawfare against him.
This was a Biden administration did something that's never been done in this country, and that's go after their political opponent, me, with this nonsense and just nonsense. They've never done this before, and they set up a very bad precedent. It's called lawfare, warfare. It's a terrible thing, and never happened in our country. It does happen in banana republics and third world countries.
That's true.
And when the day comes that you can't fight for election integrity, you don't have a country anymore.
And this wasn't the angry, insulting Trump. This was the president sharing what's happening to our country and our democracy. And after the mugshots and the 34 felony convictions, based on the 50 million,
which were misdemeanors that they turned into felonies, which is kind of crazy. But then you take felonies of children getting cut up, beat up, slashed, raped, all that stuff, and turn them into misdemeanors. So let these a-holes back out in the streets. Yeah, these Democratic DAs could kiss my ass.
In dollars of donations Trump received, most Americans agree this was just lawfare, as Elon's recap of Trump's platform is something a majority of Americans would agree on.
Yeah, I mean, if I could summarize it, perhaps, I think these are issues that I think most people in America would agree with, which is that we want safe and clean cities, we want secure borders, we want sensible government spending, we want to restore both the perception and reality of respect in the judicial system, just stop the lawfare, and I think that's like, and how are those even right-wing positions? I think those are just that's just common sense.
Just sensible positions,
and that's I mean, would you agree with that?
100%.
And yet you, as an American, if you had the patience to listen to all 3 hours of that interview or watch my recap and think, yes, safe and clean cities, secure borders, regulated government spending, and fixing our judicial system, those all sound like reasonable things to want. The media would now paint you as a right-wing loon, which sounds ridiculous, but there are people that are so weak-willed with their convictions that they will abandon their desire for safe and clean cities to avert being labeled alt-right. As the Democrats are desperate to label Elon fascism curious, which is objectively the stupidest thing they've said, but they're attacking him now just because he used Twitter to provide us insight into who Donald Trump truly is. Because remember, just a few years ago, the same platform, Twitter, was taking down posts of Trump saying this on the 6th.
But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time.
I don't know about you.
And again, to add to that clip, that's the clip that basically, because they couldn't convict Trump of insurrection because he said it before. He said it on January 5th when he had a rally, and he said it on January 6th before the way he said, go down peacefully, but if you can't do that, go home or whatever. That clip is what saved him from being indicted, because that was the evidence. That's why he never got indicted for that, for the insurrection.
But it kind of seems to me that and
I did a video about that.
They wouldn't be this desperate to shut down Elon Musk and Twitter if they weren't losing. And if you appreciate my concise. So
I'm gonna finish up this with the last minute right here. So again, I want you to hear this little part right here. This is soul sucking right here. I'll admit to that it's soul sucking. But again, remember last week I talk about how the illegal immigrants are getting $14,000 in food stamps, $4,000 cash. They could get home, they could get up, they're throwing away food, good food, sandwiches, bananas, apples. They're throwing that S away. Our taxpayer money is going towards that. But we can't get it for ourselves. Food stamps, my mom's food stamps is $100-something a month when she's been paying the system since 1991. But people who never put a dime in the system could get all their stuff, so they could vote Democrat for 1 or 2 cycles, and then after that, again, just like the Muslims in UK, y'all think you're gonna put that transgender stuff and all that stuff in the schools with no Muslim people? They're like, oh no, take that crap out of our schools. We don't believe in that. Cultures clash. But listen to this sad story, and I felt that lady, and for people who work hard, work really hard, and just see people just pissing their face, it pisses them off.
Go out to our vice president. I need this message to go out to our vice president who's running for president. I have heard all over social media about, excuse me if I say anything wrong, immigrants getting loans, money. It was hard for me to believe. It was just extremely hard for me to believe. I've been in business such a long time. Back in 2019, I purchased my first food truck. It cost me over $25,000. I paid it cash money. I worked hard to pay for this truck. I'm now selling it because I'm doing other things, but I'm selling it. I had a guy come to look at purchasing my vehicle, or my food truck, and he explained to me he's an illegal immigrant.
I can already see where this is about to go. She looked like she about to cry. Make sure y'all tap into the now that we got out of the
in the beginning.
to the brass tacks of things, because we want to see what real Americans are really experiencing in real life. And she said, listen, I didn't know, or I didn't believe that it was real, but I'm going to tell you, I visited New York. I know what's happening out here in these streets. I've been covering this for the last 2 years plus. I've seen what Eric Adams did just today. Just today, Eric Adams said that they've spent billions, and I mean up to over $2 billion a year on the migrant crisis. So when you see them walking around with these debit and these EBT cards, and they got free housing and school, and they teaching them English and all of this stuff, know that that came from your tax dollars, and it's also an insult to you as a working American of what you really tried to do and how you've been trying to build the American dream. Let's hear the rest of what she got to say.
He has no credit. He has no money in the bank. But he showed me his paperwork that he will receive funds to purchase my food truck. I'm thankful that he's buying it, but I'm hurt that I worked so hard to pay cash for my food truck.
Absolutely.
I have good credit. Can't even get a business loan because of the color of my skin. I have veterans in my family. I'm a veteran. I've been self-employed for so long. But somebody, please tell me, how do I work so hard to have somebody who comes to this country, not long, no credit, and he shows me paperwork where they'll be funding him money to buy my food truck. And when I talked to the bank, they told me usually they have to go straight to a dealership because I'm a private sale. But for special circumstances, they're going to, they allow it.
If you've ever built anything, and I know for a lot of people, this is hard to believe or it doesn't resonate with you, but this resonates with me because when you put your own money up and you had to get it out the mud and you built something from scratch, you built the business from scratch, you built the brick and mortar business from scratch, you built the food truck from scratch, you built your business out of your home, you know the dedication of blood, sweat, and tears, the lack of sleep, and all of the effort and hard work that goes into it in order to try to achieve the American dream. Whether you failed or you won, you have an emotional connection to the grind and the hustle and the dedication to that business. And so the business means more than what you make from it, or the business means more of what you sell the items in it for is meaningful to you. And so this election and what's happening right now, and the reason that she's crying is more than just the fact that, oh man, this is what's happening or it's unfair. It's an emotional connection to your dedication and your hard work of what it took to build this thing. It's almost like building up a house and paying it off only to see somebody come and just tear it down in 5 seconds. It's going to make you cry. It's going to make you shed a tear.
But I need my president to tell me why I worked so hard all these years, all these decades. Couldn't get a business loan, but I bust my ass to get the money to create my business. And we got immigrants coming here.
Illegal.
And they're getting money. Money! We're doing nothing. But
exactly.
Y'all literally should be pissed off.
I am.
Even people that have disagreed with me traditionally on issues that we still have a disagreement about. If you are a blackity black and you are a person that has argued with me in favor of reparations, even though I say that I don't believe in it, you should be offended. If you are a person that has worked your whole life and poured into the tax code, you should be offended. If you
When I started working for Buck Mason, they told me, we want to build the perfect team.
Black, you should be offended. If you white, you should be offended. If you a person that is an American, if you're a person that migrated over here legally and went through the process and all of the long-term stuff that you had to deal with in order to become a citizen and then be able to do what you got to do on a regular basis and you pay taxes, you should be offended. Absolutely. If you have one of these leaders, a D.L. Hughley, a Charlemagne,
ain't no leaders. Those are punks.
Ricky Smiley.
Jokes.
Sitting here and telling you that you just need to vote just based off of identity politics, you should be offended. If you heard that Ricky Smiley thing where he said people need to block you if you're not voting for Kamala Harris because you're not on code, you should get offended. Because they're not taking into consideration what people really going through in real life. And they so disconnected from what's real out in these streets that they won't even take into consideration what you think. They don't give a fuck about you. They only care about whether or not it aligns with their boule agenda.
Yep.
Of whether or not you are part of the divine nine.
Correct.
It's offensive. It's disrespectful to the millions of black people and Americans every single day that grind and hustle and push and focus on being the best version of themselves so that they can ultimately achieve the American dream. And they may fall short, but at least they tried. Only to be disrespected by your administration. This ain't even people that focus on beating the system. These is people that walked in because the system said, beat me. That's disrespectful. It's absolutely disrespectful to you. To you, the person that worked every single day, that grind and hustle, and then you get your paycheck and you look at your paycheck and you realize that they took an egregious amount of taxes only to give it to other people so that they can take over your stuff, buy your stuff, and then hopefully benefit as a result of it and run this country and become the new voter bloc. They chill.
Exactly. And that also creates the inflation that they're always talking about. Because you're giving money away, you spend more than you take in. That's the simplest thing. Like I stated before, at the beginning of this year, the government spent $1 trillion in the first 3 months. On what? What do you spend $1 trillion on?
Children.
That's why we have $35 trillion in debt.
Are going to be the ones that inherit this earth, that inherit this country, that inherit the United States of America. Don't you feel disrespected? You don't resonate with this woman. You don't see her face right now. You can't tell that this woman put her blood, sweat, and tears into everything that she believed in, and they gonna make special circumstances. Everything that these people is doing is coming over here is a special circumstance in order for them to be able to. You're not offended by looking at the Taliban over there with billions and tens of billions of dollars. You know, I was doing a live stream today, and there was people in my chat say, "Yo, Anton, I was one of the people that worked on, or I was stationed over there, and they just parading around with the American military stuff, and the Taliban is celebrating 3 years of being back in power as soon as Joe Biden got back into office, August 2021. August 2000.
And ISIS is back as well, too. Trump had destroyed the leader, and ISIS was gone. Now ISIS is back again.
2021, they took back power immediately, and then they took all of the equipment from the Americans that left it over there. And so when Trump say that, it don't resonate. But when these real Americans say it, hopefully you start paying attention. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description.
That's true. And that's all I talk about. It's human nature to see. You want to do the best for yourself. You want to do the best for your family. That's why I'm saying of take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your neighbors, and you have a great community. But look at the community as it's right now. Including the black community, it's trash. Majority of black people still marry each other and is not in that situation. Thank the Lord. But most of these young kids, like I said, women are masculine for no apparent reason. The young boys are effeminate as hell, and because they're effeminate, they don't control the emotions, so they're quick to shoot, kill, do horrible stuff to other people. All right, we have savages. We're creating savages out of our young boys to be emotional pieces of crap, and then we inviting savages to come over here. MS-13 people come over here to kill us and kill, rape, do all other horrible stuff. What sense that make? But again, Nancy Pelosi, unless you put Trump into it, Nancy Pelosi, Trump, Ricky Smiley, all those guys, they got money. They gotta worry about Steve Harvey. They don't gotta worry about nothing. Kamala Harris, she's protecting secrets. They don't gotta worry about nothing. But you and me gotta worry about something. And then they're gonna tell us, well, you need to take away our guns. The hell you don't. Second Amendment say you ain't taking away crap. And in my state of North Carolina, they made it a little more easy to get legal guns. Legal guns. Thank God for that. And it ain't because of our government, because our government is a piece of crap person too. But anyway, I thank you guys for rocking with me tonight. All right, we got up to 39,250 people in the building. Thank you very much for giving me your time, your mind, your eyes on this what we're talking about tonight. Okay. Again, like I said, the community thing, that's what we want. That's what we need to be set up on. Okay? In that regard. And also, again, next week, I could do two big subjects I want to talk about, but I'm going to choose one. But next week is the subject week. Meaning that it's going to be one subject. I ain't going to be jumping around the videos right there. And the show might be even be shorter. But I want to stay on one topic. And I think the topic I want to stop on because of Kamala Harris is the same thing. I want to next week. I think I'm gonna do the Hawaii fire. The Hawaii fire. 1 year. What has happened 1 year later? Remember, billions of dollars are going off to Ukraine and whatever, but your own state can't get the dollars after they go through a horrifying thing where the local government failed them miserably as hell. So. We're going to have a reaction to Tulsi Gabbard looking back at Hawaii after that horrendous fire that happened a year ago. Again, with that said, I want to thank y'all for being here, and I hope you be safe. For those in the Caribbean and the islands and on the southeast, again, hope you be weather. Hope you guys take care of yourself, prepare yourself, because it's a storm season. Tornadoes can pop up, stuff can pop up, so be careful and be safe out there. Remember, all right? Evil comes in all shapes, size, color, creed, height, nationality, sex, religion, policies, politics. It makes no difference. Evil is evil. I stand for good, not evil. And last but not least, remember, people are stupid. It's human nature. People are stupid. So people are stupid. Individuals smart. Be that smart individual. Thank you for rocking with me. Remember, like, subscribe, share the video on any platform you see it on, from YouTube to Facebook, to Spotify, to Rumble, to Locals. Help us out. I thank y'all. Have a blessed night, blessed week. We'll catch you next time for another episode of Project Over Mike. Peace out.